In this presentation, we pose the central question: whether Canada is entering a dangerous phase where political violence is fueled not just by anger, but specifically by anti-WEF and anti-woke narratives that declare our democratic institutions illegitimate or captured by hostile forces. This sets the frame for a national security assessment, not a partisan debate. Yes. Security agencies, academic experts, and Parliament itself now confirm a direct correlation between the rise of anti-elite, anti-WEF, and anti-woke populist rhetoric and a sharp rise in politically motivated threats, intimidation, and violence in Canada. This is real, escalating, and now classified as the dominant domestic threat by Canadian intelligence. This rhetoric claims that Canada is secretly controlled by global entities like the WEF or by an invading, woke ideology, creating a moral battlefield mentality. Once political opponents are defined not as rivals but as traitors or threats to civilization, calls for punishment or force become normalized. Parliament has recorded historic spikes in violent threats since 2019, especially against women, racialized MPs, and those tied to climate, equity, or public health files. SIZE confirms anti-WEF and anti-woke narratives are now the primary driver of extremist mobilization. This is no longer theoretical. Real incidents, including convoy threats, arson warnings, and bomb threats against Pride events, are already happening. SIZE, the RCMP, and the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity now warn explicitly that terms like WEF takeover, globalist coup, and woke dictatorship are recurring rally points among violent actors. CSE further confirms that foreign disinformation networks deliberately amplify these narratives to destabilize Canadian democracy from within. Researchers show a clear escalation pattern. First, rhetoric delegitimizes institutions, then it establishes moral permission, and finally it produces real-world violence. Canada is now following the same trajectory seen in the US and Europe, where narratives such as globalist puppet state or anti-woke revolution preceded violent action. The danger is not disagreement, it is the normalization of the belief that Canada's institutions have been captured by enemies and must be forcibly taken back. When democracy is framed as already overthrown, violence is reframed as self-defense. This is the exact tipping point national security officials are now warning Canada may be approaching. Canadian Security Intelligence Service contributed confirmation that anti-WEF and anti-woke extremism is now Canada's top domestic threat. The House of Commons Protective Service provided evidence of unprecedented spikes in threats against MPs. The Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity explained how foreign actors amplify these narratives. Academic research from Perry and Scrivens documented the precise radicalization trajectory already underway in Canada. Viewers can pause here to review the full citations.